Hello again and welcome to the channel. Today I'd like to talk you through a ride, so give commentary on where I'm positioning and the reason why. Hopefully this will help some of you out on the road. Okay, so as we can see we've got oncoming, so we're taking a position P2, that's the centre of our lane. So if 1 is a gutter, 3 is where the white line is on the right, 2 is in the middle. And we're holding that through here because there's no benefit to moving to P1 or P3. Watching the spokes on the Ranger over there on the left hand side just to make sure they're not turning. And now there's a right hand bend, so I'm moving more over to a left position as I bank the bike over, which allows me to see further through the bend. And as soon as we can see all of the tarmac, which is now, we can move over to P3. And we wait just in case, as we discussed, we've got horses, pedestrians, etc. So holding P3 here, which gives us a better view through the left-hand bend. And as I can see there's a car coming, I move back to P2, which increases my safety bubble. Now there's nothing coming, we can move back to P3. And we can see the road bends around to the right, so we're going to move over towards P1, just being careful of the road on the left hand side. And when I can see all of the tarmac, I could move back to P3, but as we get oncoming I held 2. And then slowly drift out to P3 to get the view through the corner. Again oncoming, so back to P2. And then drift out to P3. And we're holding P3 now because we've seen through that bend as we transitioned, so that we know there's nothing hidden. We hold P3 through here. And now to P2 to keep out of the way of oncoming, and over to P1 for the right hander. And as we can see the road continues round to the right, so we're holding P1. And keep holding P1. All the way through until I can see all of the tarmac. Then I can move back to P3, ready for the left hander. And we hold P3 as we go through here. Then back to P1 for the right hand bend. Oncoming, so I'm going to hold P2 and further oncoming, so we hold P2. Now that that's gone, I can drift out to P3 to get a view down the road, and then we got oncoming again, so we'll move back to P2. And as we can see down here now, we're coming to a village, so likely to be a speed change. So in 30 mile an hour, usually there's not really a benefit to moving between P1, P2, P3. In some of the smaller villages like this, occasionally there is. But for the most part, in a standard built-up area, there's very little benefit. So we tend to hold a P2 position. And P2 is, as we discussed earlier, what you call the old sump line, smack in the middle of your carriageway basically. And as we ride up the hill now, we start to come up towards the bridge. And we know that this is quite a narrow bridge from experience. So I'm going to take a position P1, which keeps me well out of the way of danger of anything wide that's coming through here. So move over as close as we dare. And as we can see, van etc. coming through. I could see those over the top of the railway bridge there, so I just held position 1 all the way through, get the speed down. Here now we move out slightly just to try and get a better view, and there's a tractor, so I give that plenty of room. And then I'm holding more of a left position again because it's narrow, so I can see anything oncoming early. Still holding that left position through this right-hander. And then the road bends round to the left, so I am going to move out a little bit, try and get a little bit of a better look round, just in case there's pedestrians as well walking on that road, which does happen sometimes. Back over to a left-hand position through this, again, quite narrow section. Keeps your head out of the way of oncoming traffic. And now we're coming into the village, so I'll take a position over to the left again. I know the road's quite narrow here. Slow down for the coach. And then we've still got oncoming, so we'll keep left of the carriageway. And then watching the pedestrian move out slightly to give him a little bit of room. So more of a P1.5 through there. And here now the carriageway widens out quite a bit, so there is a benefit for me to go in slightly wide here, avoiding the potholes and the dug-up road in the centre as much as possible. But gets me an early view up through, and I can see the road bends round to the right. And again, through experience, I know it's quite narrow, so I'm moving left to get a better view up through here. And once I can see the road's clear, I'm then commanding the centre of the road, right up through the middle, and then back into P2. Move it over to P1 for the right-hander. And now we hit national, so we can accelerate out to P3 for the left-hander. And at speed you can see the benefit of moving between P1, P2, P3 extends the view quite a lot. Over to P1 for the right hand bend. We're going to hold this until we can see all of the tarmac. And we've got oncoming, so we won't go any further out than P2. Back to P1 for the right hander. As soon as I can see all the tarmac, I could go out to P3 for the left hander. P2 here because the road's quite narrow. And going into quite a sharp bend we can see from the chevrons, so we're going over to P1 just in case anything big's going round the other way. And here he is, crossing the white line. Slow for the bus. And continue on. So we're in that P2 position through here. Pedestrians on the left, cars and vans etc. on the right. So we split the difference, half the danger. Up by the pub, I want to move left ever so slightly just to make sure that I can see is anybody wanting to turn into the pub, and then as I'm confident they aren't, I'll move out to make sure that anybody pulling out of the pub is out of the way. Back to P3 now on this nice sweeping left hand bend, and as soon as we see traffic coming towards us we move back to P2. Out to P3 again. And over to a more central position again. We've got potential of pedestrians on the left, so rather than going position 1 we'll keep it position 2. And we hold P2 through here. Quite narrow and a turning on the left, so we're going to slow down a little bit. And there's a car waiting to pull out, and the nose is over the line. We had to go slightly wide there. As soon as we're confident again, up through, taking a left position in case there's anything coming towards us. Once we can see the road opens up, we move back out to P3, and we got oncoming, so we're going to have to move over to P2. Hold that round the bend then. Out to P3 to get a view down the road and past the car in front. And then we've got traffic calming measures up ahead, so we're just going to slow down here. Tuck in behind. Nice and wide out through this section, nice and early. And it's basically P2 through most of the rest of the next section. As we come into here now, we're going to move out to P3 through the left hand bend, if possible. We'll wait till the cars go past. Move out. Gives us a nice view through. Move over closer to P2. Again, keeping away from the car on the left. Lots of oncoming, so we're just holding position 2. And now we're coming up to the zigzag, so left hand followed by a right hand bend. So providing it's safe to do so, we're going to move out to P3. Get a view through this bend as much as possible. And as soon as we can see that the road goes round to the right, we're going to move over to P1. Nice and early. That gives us a chance to set our speed, make sure we're in the right gear. I'm holding that left position, which allows me to see anything that might be turning right here and keep me out of the way of them, as we can see that Ford. And then back to position 2 following distance. And as we come up through here, there's a caravan pulling out of the caravan park there on the left hand side, so I want to give him plenty of room. You could see him coming over the hedge over the top of the football field. Into the bridge usually has pedestrians, so we're going to be quite slow through this. And the road widens out again, so we can bring the speed up slightly. And we're turning right up here by the monument. We do get large vehicles come down here, so because I have panniers on, I'm keeping more of a central position until I'm confident the road's clear before I move over. And back up the gorge.